and welcome to the LV Home Experts Radio Show every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where we talk about real estate and financing at a macro level and also a micro level out here in Las Vegas. So today is a very special day. We got a special guest, and I want to introduce my man, my co-host, the myth, the legend, the gurus of all gurus when it comes to financing. That's right, Dan himself.
What's going on, everybody? Yeah, here we go. I got that sound coming through.
Yeah.
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Good. You got a different voice. What's going on right now?
I don't know. It's weird. It's it's almost like the volume was low or something.
No, because I turned you up. You know what I'm
did
saying?
You turn me up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Sounded weird for a second, huh?
Now, we got another guy that we need to introduce to the show. That's right, the special guest. The real estate of all real estate agents. The king of all closers. That's right. His name, I forgot his name. David Ramirez. What's up?
What's up? How's it going, man?
Hey, David, they ever call you like DR? Do you ever say, like, yo, it's DR over here?
Drive. It's
Sometimes
Drive.
DR, David. Christian, my middle name, Christian. They use that a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
You go by Christian or you go by David?
Yeah, you should use Christian over the phone because that's like a white name.
I use it in marketing all the time. David Christian Real Estate. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I try to use it.
I
a
like
lot.
that Christian.
Do you really
Yeah.
think that makes a difference?
It actually does.
It does, yeah.
There
Huge
was
difference.
Really?
Yeah, there was like an agent that worked here. I forget what his name was, but he was a Hispanic guy, and he had a Hispanic name, which was very hard to pronounce. But I thought it was a cool name, and he changed his name on over to Christian Lux, and he changed it legally.
Yeah.
And he said it actually works. However, obviously, I have a very unique name, right?
Right.
And it can work for you or against you. For me, what's great about it is, with all the marketing stuff, everybody knows who Chakits is.
Well, I think it's the spelling, right? It's like they don't know how to pronounce it, so I think that's why it's so unique. And then they go, every time I talk to somebody, it's like, well, not everybody, but they're like, how do I say his name? And it's like Chakits.
Yeah, Chakits.
Chakits.
Not Chakits. I mean, if you read it, it would be pronounced Chakits.
Chakits.
But just throw a U at it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chakits.
Chakits with a U.
Yeah, that's right. Chakits with a U. So today, this is actually a pre-recorded show. That's right. The reason why we are pre-recording this is because Chakits is not here in studio. He's actually in Hawaii right now as we speak. So let's see what Chakits is up to. All right, let's see. Chakits, what's going on? What's up, guys? So I just arrived to Hawaii today, so I just wanted to share with you guys a little bit. The weather's really great out here, so we're gonna be out here for a couple weeks. I really wish you guys were here with me. Right back here, we have a beautiful plantation home that is actually for rent. We may do a tour on that. I'm not too sure, but let's get right back to the show. I wish you guys nothing but the best. Dang! Look at that. Chakits is in Hawaii. You see how we did that?
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Dang.
So you're heading to Hawaii, huh?
That's right. Heading over to Hawaii.
Yeah, man. That's kind of cool. You got any plans? You guys got things you're gonna do right away, or what?
No.
Because you got family there, right? So you got a lot of things already set up, probably.
We're not really doing anything. It's just kind of like more of a family vacation, just hanging out.
Yeah.
And just really doing the family thing. You know what I'm saying?
I'm envious because it's so hot. It's hot over there, but it's not as hot. It's pretty moderate, right?
It's not a good time to go around this time.
Why?
Because of the humidity. So it's going to be pretty hot and humid.
I see.
Now,
I didn't know humidity was that bad, huh?
Oh, it is. Have you been to Florida?
No.
Is it worse?
Oh, it's worse.
So what is it, like 60, 70%?
Oh, yeah. It's probably even higher than that. I'm talking about after you take a shower, you're sweating.
Damn.
Right?
You just got to be like always have a shower next to you somewhere.
Basically, you always just gotta walk around with sweat.
That's
You're
why
always
everybody
sweating.
goes to the beach, huh?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not too sure, but there are certain parts of the island that it's pretty dry, depending on the climate, right? I think the Big Island. Correct me if I'm wrong here, guys. I think it's 7 or maybe 11 different climates that they have on one island.
That I don't know.
Yeah.
You probably know more about that than I do.
So basically you can literally drive around the island. 1 minute it's raining, right? You're in the forest. Then you can go to like desert, dry. then you can go up to the snow. Now you're in snow. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
Tropical.
They actually have snow up there, huh?
Dude, snowed. Isn't that weird?
Really? It
there's
almost. Go ahead, David.
Oh, there's a section where it's like all black rock too.
Yeah.
It's not like a black beach.
Yeah, it almost feels like you're in Mars. Like there's a section where you can like drive through, and it's just like you just look all the way as far as you can see, like down the horizon.
Yeah.
Just
And
black.
it's just all black lava. And it's like, dude, I'm on Mars. This is a trip.
Hey, isn't there something out there where you say you can't take things from the island?
Well,
Like
I'm
it's
sure.
bad luck, right?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't do it because I feel like that place is very spiritual. I've heard stories,
Yeah.
right, that people take stuff and they get like bad luck.
Yeah.
I mean, you seen that show? What is that show with the 5 kids, like 6 kids?
Oh, I don't know. Married with Children?
Not Married with Children. No. You know where they actually the Brady Bunch.
Oh, the
You ever
Brady
seen the episode? They go to like Hawaii. They
Yeah.
take like this little statue thing or something. They get
Yeah.
like bad luck or something.
Yeah.
I think that's how it is.
Actually, Married with Children is one of my funniest.
I used to love that show, dude.
There's only 2 kids I know. I was just throwing that out there. No, but it's funny, dude, because I was watching some of the clips from Married with Children. Yeah. It just brings back memories, dude. It was like every Sunday I'd be waiting to watch that when I was a kid. It was like one of my, that and The Simpsons, one of my all-time shows.
Al Bundy, that was a great role for him, dude.
He was ridiculous.
That was during the time when they only had like 5 channels or 10 channels.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There was
man.
like 3 major shows.
Yeah, that was the one where on the Bluetooth,
Yeah.
where you had to like turn it like this, like a dial.
You
Remember?
know, yeah,
It's crank.
Yeah,
And then it broke, so you got to get the pliers.
dude, I
Yeah,
remember
twisted.
like my parents. They're like, "Yo, turn it to HBO." They'd call me like out of the kitchen or something or downstairs.
to turn it to HBO.
Yeah, turn the channel. I'm like, man, y'all call me down here to turn this thing?
Hey, you guys imagine a life without a remote?
I know.
Imagine having to get up every time that, and you got how many channels? Yeah. It's like 200 channels. You're
Well,
like,
now there's like unlimited channels.
Yeah.
So
Crazy,
many
man.
networks, huh?
yeah,
And now you can use your phone as a remote.
Yeah.
Log on
Yeah,
with
it's
the phone.
just
It's crazy.
different world.
Yeah.
So, guys, I want to talk about what's going on in the Las Vegas housing market. I'm sure there's so much going on with David. David's been out selling a lot of homes, so we're going to get some inside tips. After that, we're going to step into the financing with Dan. So, David, let's talk about the housing market. What is going on with the housing market right now?
So things are still booming. I mean, the market is hot. Everything is just crazy. The demand is still there.
Yeah.
And what we're seeing is a little bit of the inventory come on board, but the demand is still the same. So we're starting to see a couple of the properties that are hitting the market, and they're not going for as high as they were before, but depending on the price range. So for example, right now I'm helping a client, and they're looking at a Blue Heron. They're looking at the Blue Heron's custom build in Obsidian, right over here in Roma Hills. So they're looking at that subdivision, and they're ready to buy anywhere from 2 to 3 million in that range. And there's only 5 lots left.
Yeah.
And they started with, I believe, about 25 lots, I believe, in the subdivision.
Yeah.
So even in that price range, they're still going quick.
Who you moving with? Who are you working with? Are you working with Donna?
Dawn, yeah.
All right, that's
Yep,
my
Dawn.
girl over there.
Yeah.
Next time you see her, tell her. I said, "What's
Dawn
up?"
and Jimmy, they told
Yeah,
me.
those are the 2. Now, let
Yeah.
me ask you this. This is the most important right here. I'm going to ask you this, and you need to stay focused on this, okay? The clients that you are working with, are they your clients or are they our clients?
They're your clients here from the
Yes!
cashing in.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
So what's going on over there, dude, right now?
So what we're trying to do is get them into a custom lot. So they're actually open on their timeline. They live in Seattle, I believe, and it
Yeah.
rains a lot. So they want a Vegas home. They're calling it like a winter home. So when it does rain, they're going to come out to Vegas. They work from home, so they're
Yeah.
able to work anywhere basically. So for them, the timeline isn't a big issue.
Yeah.
So if I was able to get them a vacant lot and they could build a custom home, and right now for these for the size on the Blue Herons, they're about 12 to 15 months
Yeah.
build time. So for them, that might work, but they're also open to a resale. So if we do find them a resale, the properties that move in ready, then they're also willing to jump on that. So that's kind of what we're seeing right now.
Okay. So are you saying that on the high-end side of the market, it's still as competitive as far as the median price point for a home out here at $397,500?
Absolutely, yeah. And even more so in subdivisions. I mean, there's people because they have cash, right?
Yeah.
So they have a little more power and control to work with because they can dictate the terms, the comps in the area, how much they're willing to spend above what the values are. So I think there could be even more competition in that price range.
Wow. And I think the reason why is because you do have a lot of people from California moving out here, and I believe certain sections in California, the average household income is about 125, which dwarfs the income here at 51,000, right? So you can't really get much working out here. And like you said, people are working from home a lot.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are doing that transition out here, which is really driving up that market here in Las Vegas. And that's the reason why, a lot of these luxury homes, sometimes within 24 hours, that thing is gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And then as far as the rest of the market, I mean, I have a spectrum of buyers. So I have a buyer that's looking for a condo that, he's a nice guy. He works for, I believe, an insurance company. He makes a decent salary, but he only qualified for a certain amount. So he's in the range of about 80,000.
Yeah.
So I have a client that's looking in the range of 80,000. We have a couple of condos. They're one bedroom condos. There was even another property that was a studio.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the living room, the kitchen, everything in one room. It's all connected. Only the restroom is a separate actual area with a door on it. So I have
is that a single is that a one bedroom or is that a studio?
a studio, yeah. So it's
Okay.
even smaller than a one bedroom.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so you have the living room and the bedroom all connected. Everything is just one room basically. It doesn't
What's the
even,
price
it
on
doesn't
that?
separate. 80,000.
I remember you can pick those up for like $5,000.
80,000.
80,000 and they're still
Where's this
bidding wars
location
on
at?
those.
On Lamont.
That one, yeah, it was actually on Lamont.
Yeah, see.
You know exactly where it's at.
I know.
It's
Where's
like
Lamont
a
at?
10-plex. It's a big building, condo.
Yeah.
And it's off of, what is it, Karen?
Yeah, or something like that.
right behind the
Northeast or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or somewhere.
Any
around there.
restrictions on the financing or?
Well, he's doing a 5% conventional.
Yeah.
So he's a little bit restricted on that because he's waiting on a tax return refund.
Sure.
So the tax return refund is going to help him with the closing costs. So he only has exactly the 5% down right now.
I see.
So once he gets the tax return refund, if we can't get the closing costs covered, he's going to need that to cover the closing costs.
Right.
I know when it comes to financing, there are certain limitations as far as what you can actually finance for. I know some lenders, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, depending on the lender, some places you can't even finance at 80,000, 60,000, 70,000.
Yeah. I mean,
right?
some lenders.
Why is that?
I think it's
not even worth your time, right?
Well, it's profit, right? They're
Yeah.
looking at how much profit am I going to make, and sometimes they will, but there's called loan level pricing adjustments.
Yeah.
So they'll hit you with one of those or maybe a couple of them where it adjusts your rate up. So they're going to actually hit that where it's a higher rate because they're like, man, we'll do it, but
We need to make money.
below
off of it.
100,000, debt ratio's this. It's an investment property, whatever it is. It's just
So what you're saying is that even though that you have good credit, which should give you a lower monthly payment because your interest rate is low,
sure.
but also another compensating factor is depending on the price point that you are borrowing as well, right? That will also
In some
dictate
cases,
the
yeah.
interest rate. So you're not getting rewarded because you got a good credit score, especially if you're buying a home or a condo at $60,000.
Yeah, I think it's occupancy and it's also type of
Yeah.
home, right? So it's like, are you living in it? Are you going to rent it? Is it a second home? Also, what type of home are you buying? Condos traditionally have what? They got a poor track history, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because of all the problems they had back in the mid 2000s when everything went down. Those were the first ones to go. Those were investment in second homes. They're like, I'm out. People just let them go. So banks know that, and it's a higher risk to them, so they pass that risk to the consumer.
If you are thinking about purchasing a home, don't forget to visit lvhomeexperts.com. It is a great website to get started to look at homes. This website, you will be able to look at all the homes that are currently on the market that is actually active today. That's right, lvhomeexperts.com. The reason why we are doing this plug is because now we actually have a real podcast. And we are going to be putting this on all the podcast shows, but we got to collect the library, right, Dan?
That's right.
So for all you listeners out there, don't forget to visit lvhomeexperts.com. Yeah, you like that plug?
I liked it. It was a good plug. Music turned up. Boom.
Slightly, just cool, smooth. So, David, let me ask you this. Are you still seeing offers right now, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 above the appraised value?
Absolutely, yeah. So it comes down to everything falling in the right box for these buyers because I've had I'd say the last 5 buyers that I put into contract, they're all different. The first couple of buyers, I've been able to get lucky and put a strong offer, and we get them in contract within the first time showing properties. So we go out, look at 5, 6 properties, we make 2 or 3 solid offers, and we get them accepted.
Yeah.
And there's other buyers, we've gone out several times already, about 5 to 6 homes each time we go out, and we make about 2 to 3 offers each time. And we've already placed with this one client in particular about 10 offers.
Oh, wow.
And every single offer has been 10 to 15,000 above list.
Really? And you're paying your own closing costs?
Paying our own closing cost. And with this buyer, he doesn't have that many reserves. He doesn't have that much in reserve. So I think that's one of the biggest problems here. We can't waive the appraisal entirely. So what we're doing is we're putting a cap at 5,000 above the appraised value.
Yeah.
So we're offering 15,000 above the list price, and then putting a cap. They're only willing to pay 5,000 above the appraisal, not completely waiving the appraisal.
So that tells you, okay, well, let me ask you this first. What is that purchase price you guys are looking at?
So we're right in the median range around 380 to 400.
Okay, so right there, Dan. So basically what he's saying, right, he's got a buyer that's looking at the median price point of $397,500 in today's market. We know the average days is 7 days at $112 a square foot. So what that tells you is that majority of our buyers, right, that's the pool buyers that are shopping for homes right now, right? Because at that price point, because everybody wants the lowest payment as possible. But home pricing has increased. So your buyer's in this little pool here. And basically, because he doesn't have that much cash reserve, obviously he's paying his own closing costs and stuff like that. He's got about 5,000 where he can go above. And that tells you in today's market, you need at least probably minimum of 10 grand coming out of pocket above the appraised value.
Yes.
Right.
Just to get your offer accepted.
Just to get it accepted.
Now, it is case by case basis. There are some properties that I've submitted an offer, $795, but wrote a clean offer, right? Agent looked at it and said, yo, this is a clean offer. Let's just move forward. Just because you have the highest offer doesn't mean it's always the best offer. But you have to take that into consideration, right? I mean, that's the first thing I look at.
Yeah.
Hey, when I get an offer submitted, I look at it and say, hey, what is this buyer offering? Let me give you an example. I list a property Friday, and it was from a YouTube subscriber. Also, just to let you know, we also sell homes too as well. So if you guys are interested in selling your home or you want to do a market analysis, please let us know. We definitely would love the opportunity to earn your business. That's right. Now, going back to this story, the comps are somewhere around 385, right? But what was very unique about this property in Mission Hills is that I've seen the last 90 days, it went from 345, 365, 375, and the highest one was at 385, right? And the condition of the property that I just listed, it was in great condition.
Sure.
Right? Matter of fact, I actually did a video on this property, and if you guys want to check out the video, I may have the link in the description below, or just wait till the end of this video podcast. Just click on that thumbnail. Now, our strategy on this deal was to list it at 375. Okay. We got an offer the very next day for 385. But the offer that came in, they were asking for a contingent based upon a sale of their home.
Right.
Which, if you are currently in that situation, you shouldn't be submitting any offers in today's market. If you're trying to scale up to get another home, it makes no sense.
Right.
Because of the way the market is, right? You got to understand the seller and also the agent doesn't want to tie up a property hoping that your buyer is going to buy the property, but then they are waiting on another buyer to buy their property.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. Like, why would you put yourself in that position? Unless escrow has already been open, the appraisal has been done, home inspection has been done, and you're just waiting for the financing to close out of the deal. And at that point, you take a look at the conditions.
Yeah.
But for this case, once we got the offer, I said, look, this is not a good deal. I mean, it's 385, which is, we got more than what you want.
Right.
So I said, let's hold off. Couple hours later, $400,000. Agent called me up and said, hey, what do we got to do to get the deal done? I said, look, we've already got multiple offers. Give me your highest and best. He's like, yo, Chuck, give me something. Like, I want to know what's going on. I just told you, give me your highest and best and write a clean offer. So the agent was kind of probing, right? But obviously I want to represent my client at the same time. So I said, look, you write a clean offer and give me your highest and best. I'll get this thing accepted. This morning they sent it on over. It was so clean. And it was at $400,000. And we accepted the offer.
So what is that style of home, or what type of home is that?
So this is 1,400 square feet.
Okay.
Single story.
Sure.
2 bedrooms and a den. 3-car garage.
Wow, it's pretty crazy.
And I didn't think I was going to get 400 for it. Right? I'm looking at the comps and I'm thinking, 375, 380, because anything above that, we're going to run to appraisal issues. So in this case at 400, obviously we're going to run into some appraisal issues, right? It may not appraise for 400, but obviously if I can meet the appraiser out there to see if I can force the appraiser to appraise the property for higher, then better for the seller. In addition to that, I looked at the buyer's financing. They're putting down 20%. So, $400,000, that's $80,000. I know they got money in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
So it's better to take this buyer and drag them down deep water, right? Get it into escrow. Then if we have issues, let's renegotiate the deal.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I know what the bottom line is of the seller.
Sure.
What they want. So the cards are always in our favor at this point, right?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously I'm not going to tell you guys too much in detail because we just currently just opened up escrow. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a good tactic, I think, to have, as far as how you structured that for the seller. Because you're representing the seller.
Yeah,
I think
correct.
People think different. I think,
Yeah, the mindset is different.
Yeah, if you're going to go for a buyer, obviously doesn't want to, you want to get the best deal. So it all depends on who's representing you.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
That's a really good point, too, that you said about bringing a strong offer to the table. Because I had another client that, like you said, the seller had received an offer that was higher than ours.
Yeah.
But because I was so proactive on the phone with the listing agent, he said, you know what? The other agents just emailed me the offer. They never called, never text.
Yeah.
Never did anything. They just emailed the offer and expected to, for us to respond.
Yeah.
But you were constantly calling me. The minute you sent the offer, you called me, you text me. We went over every detail of the contract.
Yeah.
And he said, because I know that you're going to get this deal done, I'm going to have my seller accept your offer, even though it's lower than the other offer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a huge factor that, that we're seeing right now.
Let me play devil's advocate based upon what he just said.
Mm-hmm.
So as a buyer's agent, following up with their offer, which you should do all the time, right? Because you want to make sure they got your offer.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could actually be annoying on the selling side as a listing agent because it's like when I have an offer, right? Once I have a listing and when agents call me to see what's going on, that bugs the crap out of me.
Yeah.
It's like, stop calling me.
Right.
Okay. There's an MLS sheet. It tells you exactly what is going on, right? Just go ahead and read it, right? It will tell you if there's multiple offers or not. But sometimes they'll catch me at a good time. But I just prefer just to submit the offer over. And what I do is I check the mechanical lockbox or the electrical lockbox to see if that agent actually viewed the property, how long they have been in the property with their clients. So now I know that they looked at the property, right? So then I take a look at the offer, then the financing. Then if I feel like this is a good...
You said the electrical box?
Yeah.
Why would you look at that? Just explain that part.
The reason why we do that is, the reason why I do that is because I want to make sure that the buyer and the buyer's agent actually gone into the property.
How would you know that by them opening it up, though?
Yes, because it's electronic. It's based upon a satellite,
So basically when they open it, it tells you that they opened it.
Yeah, I get an alert on my phone or on my email. It lets me know what agent actually looked at the property.
Really?
And I look at how long they've been in the property. If they were in there like for 2 minutes and they're writing an offer, I'm like, dude, you're not that serious.
No.
Right? Now, if I look at the offer and I feel like this is an offer that I can actually negotiate, I feel like it's a strong offer, but there's certain things that I want to counter. Then before I even counter the offer, I will reach on out to the agent. Now, as a listing agent and also as a buyer's agent, basically we're trying to work together to get the deal done.
Right.
So we're filling each other out at this point, right? So it's basically, you tell me what's going on with my buyer, or your buyer, I'll tell you what's going on with the seller. We'll see if we can make it work. Okay, based upon our situation, we want to get this deal done, but we got to make some changes based upon how you wrote the contract.
Sure.
If it works, then it works. If it doesn't, then sometimes it doesn't work. And the reason why we do that up front, right, David, is because we don't want to waste time by writing up offers because we're so busy.
Yeah.
Going back and forth is just a waste of time. It's just better just to have that conversation.
Sure.
Now, based upon the conversation, he knows his client. I know my client. If it works, all right, I'm going to send over an addendum. Let's lock this thing up. So that's how you do stuff. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I also think that I'm kind of thinking about like with your situation with the appraisal.
Yeah.
Does it really make a difference when you go out, you meet somebody as an appraiser, as a realtor, to say, hey, remember you said as a seller,
Yeah.
on both sides, the realtor side as far as the buyer and the seller, like what, does it really make an impact?
Actually, it does, because the reason why it makes an impact is because you may have some sort of comps that he's not looking at, and you know the property better than the appraiser, right? He probably doesn't know what type of insulation you have. Has that been upgraded?
Do they really give value for that?
They need to, because what happens if you have an R30 versus an R38, which you save more money on electricity on an R38? Is it batten insulation or is it blown in insulation? So you got to be a sales guy. You got to sell the product, right?
Is that a year for a home, like as far as that R38? Does that come into a specific year home when they started putting that in, or is that just an upgrade?
To a certain extent, yes, but we're talking about like decades, right? So as like every decade goes along, there's always like a new type of product that's out. But any homeowner from the past 20 years, you could just do an upgrade at that point.
How do you document that though? Like, as if you're somebody that's a realtor, I'm just curious. Like,
get your butt up in the attic. Go look at it.
With the home inspection.
But I mean, they don't put that.
Yeah,
on, they don't put that on a sheet somewhere, right? They don't.
No. So basic, if it's the original owner, they should know that because that's what they bought, right? Now, if they don't know it, let's just say if you did have an inspection, you just ask the home inspector. If not, you can crawl up there and see if it's insulated.
Right.
One of the big ones I saw is solar panels.
Yeah.
Right. So I had a property that was $20,000 below the value in the subdivision. But the appraiser, we went back and forth on how much these solar panels are, how much they cost, how much they're worth.
Yeah.
So he gave us the value, $20,000 above all the comps, just based upon the solar panels.
Yeah.
So I think that's a new thing too, that they're.
So if the house already has solar panels on it, right? Paid for, it's just like a pool, right? They don't give you. It's similar to that, where they're just like, oh, that's an upgrade, so we're just going to give you $20,000 for it.
Yes.
Depending on how many panels they have, how much energy is generating, and then if it's leased or if it's owned, like you said, if it's paid off.
If you're
leased,
leased,
if they have a financing on it.
If you're leased, you're not going to get the dollar amount.
But if it's paid off,
oh yeah, because you're saving.
And some of them, depending on how many panels you have, some properties, they only put like half the panels.
Yeah.
Just so you can save on energy, but it doesn't always sustain the entire amount that you need the usage for the property.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So depending on how many panels you have.
If you guys have not had a chance to visit LV Home Experts, go ahead and visit lvhomeexperts.com. It is a great website to start looking at homes, no matter what type of homes you guys are looking for. Multifamily, condos, townhomes, anything that you want. What's great about the website, if you want to start the financing, there's a financing link too as well. Click on that financing link to get started today. lvhomeexperts.com.
One other thing I was going to tell you is, so if you going back to the appraiser, how do you find out if the appraiser, like when they're going to go out and see it? Like, do you call somebody? Like, how do you get that?
So basically what happens as a listing agent, what will happen is the appraiser will contact you to see if the property's vacant, right? If there's an electronic lockbox, then he'll let you know when he plans on going out there, then you can actually meet him out there. Now, on the buying side, as a buying agent, all right, what you would do is you're already working together with the listing agent, because you and the listing agent are trying to get this property appraised, right, to get this deal done. So then what I would do is let the listing agent know is as soon as you get word on when the appraiser is going to go out to the property, let me know. I will meet the appraiser myself.
Okay.
Now, these are just those little tiny extra steps, right, as an agent, that if they put in place, this just lets you know that your agent is a good agent, because agents don't have to do that.
No, they don't.
But that just lets you know that you have a strong agent, right?
Absolutely.
Because sometimes agents, they'll just put deals together and they will thumb their way through it. And there are a lot of moving parts. Like, I don't know everything, but I always obviously learn as I go along too as well. But I mean, I've been doing this long enough where I can call BS if there's
Right.
BS. Do you see
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's just part of it, because when it comes to real estate, it's just not only about selling homes. You got to deal with the title company, but then the title company has so many departments. You know, they have a prelim department. What happens if something is attached to the prelim? How do you find out what the balance is? How do you deal with that situation, right? Liens, encumbrance, and all that stuff. Then you got the lending side. You got the loan originator, you got the processor, then you got to deal with the underwriter. If
Yep.
things come up, how do you have this conversation with your buyer's lender? How do you work together as a team, and how do you figure these things out? Because things come up a lot. Now, what would you say the percentage of financing, right, has to do with a real estate transaction? Would you say it's 50%?
As far
80%?
as going through the process,
Yeah. Like, how big of a deal is it in going through the process? Would you say it's about 50%
I would
of
say
the transaction?
I would say it's more than that.
70?
I would say about 70.
70%.
Yeah,
70%?
I think 50%. Because look, it's hard to get somebody into contract, but I think it's really hard to.
Do the financing.
Well, it's the babysitting, it's the constant updates,
Yeah.
the constant changes, and you're working. We talk about this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
7 or 8 different people are having some type of help on that file.
Yeah.
Right. Title, appraiser, lender, realtor, selling agent, buying agent, client. It just home insurance. You know what I mean? There's just so many things that goes on with this file. So.
And then you throw like a second or third buyer in there.
Yeah.
You have multiple buyers on one transaction. You have a lot of paperwork, right? Taxes, employment status.
It's a process. Like, behind the scenes, nobody really sees how many things that I'm doing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
But I'm just constantly doing this. And that's not even talking to anybody internally.
Yeah.
That's just talking to the people involved in the transaction. Now you got processing, underwriting, management. You got to delegate certain things to assistants, and there's just a lot of stuff that goes on that, getting a loan is not the glamorous part. We just talked about it.
Right.
And I get it. It's not, because it's like going to the dentist. I say it all the time. I wouldn't want to go get a loan if I didn't have to get a loan, but if I got to get a loan, I got to get a loan. So unfortunately, you got to go through that process and deal with it.
So basically, as a lender, you're pretty much the grunt worker in the punching bag.
Absolutely.
When crap hits the fan, that's gonna be all on
It's
you.
all on me, man. And everybody thinks you're the one. It could be the appraisal came back lower.
Yeah.
Why did you use that appraiser? Well, this is a third party appraiser. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to give us any more value because they work with us or they're on a panel list. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a lot of things behind the scenes that, we can only control so much.
So as a agent, I would say, safe to say, that realtors or agents are the ones that are like the glue to hold everybody together.
Yeah, they are.
Basically.
Well, I think too, people, when they look at it, where did the relationship start?
Yeah.
It started because you have something shiny and new and great that they want.
Uh-huh.
And they started that trust with you. And it's like, you guys basically went hand in hand and started that journey together.
Mm-hmm.
And so if all else fails, they're not going to go back to somebody that was referred to you or somebody that the appraiser, they're going to go back to you and say, hey, we're going through this together. You gave me this guy's number or this person or this woman, whoever it is. Things aren't working out. Now we got to do something else. And I think it always starts with the realtor because of that reason.
Now, there is another segment I want to get into, and this is the most important segment. Let's get into financing with Dan.
Market update.
Market update. So we all know that rates have ticked down. They were at 3.18%, and now they're ticked down to 3%. A lot of it is the unemployment numbers that come back. So we're looking at that. We're looking at a lot of inflation news, and we're starting to see that inflation's not going to be a huge problem, at least moving forward at this time. Because if it was, we always do what the bond market tells us, right? That's what the saying is in the world of economics, is whatever the bond market's doing, right, is ultimately what everybody's doing as far as investing money. And the data that's coming out is showing that the bond market is actually, people are pulling their money out of the bond market and they're putting it into stocks, commodities. Oil's up to multi-year highs compared to what it was last year. Obviously, we had the COVID last year. So there's a lot of data out there that's showing that we're in a good place, but yet we still need to improve. There's still, I think there was 850,000 jobs that people took on. And so we're starting to see people get back to work. The other thing too is there was a stimulus. It was somewhat of a stimulus check. It was for unemployment. They were giving you an additional $300, and that's about to end, right, for people out there working. So what does that mean? It just means if you're not working right now, that once they take that $300 away, you better get back to work, because if you were making $700 with that additional amount of money, you might only be making $400 now. And so
that's why we don't have any more Uber drivers here in town.
I'm telling you,
It's that extra 300.
Stimulus checks. I mean, people are sitting on the sidelines because they're like getting extra. Everything's extra. Stimulus, the extra $300 for unemployment people and benefits. So that's about to come to fruition here. We're going to stop that. It's going to start to see people that are going to either have to go back to work and make the real income that they're going to make. And I think the Fed's starting to force that hand, you know. So I'm starting to see that a lot. What are you laughing about?
I don't know. I'm just watching it. I'm like, go.
You laughing?
You think they're manipulating it by doing that?
No, I don't think they're manipulating. But what it's saying is that, look, you know, there's no reason, in my opinion, there's no reason for people to be unemployed. You got more than enough jobs. They still haven't fulfilled all the jobs. Mm-hmm. I think September of 2022 you're going to see us fully back to full capacity, where people are going to be back to work, and all the jobs that you see that are people not having and that they lost, they're all going to be back, and everything's going to be at full capacity at that point. So the Fed, I think, is looking at it going, look, we see an economy starting to thrive, right, or get better. We can only go so far. You can't just keep getting stimulus checks and help and unemployment. Now it's not really about, hey, do I need it? It's about you're just using it, right, because it's there. So they're taking that away. So I think they're forcing the hand of people that are unemployed to go back to work. And that's going to end here in September, I believe, is what that month is going to be. So that's a big thing to look at. Also, you know, as we talk about, the Fed's going to have their meeting here soon, and they're going to look about possibility of tapering, pulling back on the amount of bonds that they're purchasing. But everybody always looks at, you know, the bond market, and that's the starting point of what the economy is going to do. And so you look at the inflation numbers, you look at the bond market. Investors have no issues, and they have no problem still investing money on riskier assets than the bond market right now, because the bond market's the more safe haven, right?
So now that we know that the eviction moratorium is now extended again for July 30th, do you think that's going to have a big impact?
Not on the primary residence buyers or owners, if you want to call it, people that have homes that they're living in, but investors maybe. But what is that market? You know, like, what is the investment market, that sector? It might have a little impact on foreclosures for people that maybe are renting out properties, or maybe people that own unit buildings and things like that, where they're just so behind, they're just like, I'm just going to give it up and sell it. But you have more people with more money now, and the higher paying jobs, right? They came back a lot quicker than the smaller paying jobs, because people can work from home, and people didn't just extend themselves. There's more equity in properties than ever right now. So there's a lot of reason why people should not be leaving their homes, and I don't think that's going to impact it at all.
Yeah.
Well, all right. That was a great show.
Did I
fell asleep.
Sorry about that.
You're like, where are we at? No, that was actually really good, Dan. I do appreciate it. Talking about the jobs, I know that unemployment had ticked up as far as like jobs. I think it was like 10% up or something like that. I think we read in the paper.
It's increasing. I mean, look, the point is we're creating jobs.
Yeah.
People aren't taking the jobs, and there's still a lot available to be taken.
Because they ain't paying enough money.
No, and consumer confidence is there, because you look at it and you can say, well, if I lose this job, is there another job to get? Absolutely, right? And then you got the flow of money right now for people. They're not living paycheck to paycheck as much, and those higher paying jobs came back a lot quicker. So I think people are in a good place. There's no reason for them to leave, you know what I mean, as far as their current home. That's why I don't think that moratorium is going to actually affect primary homeowners.
Well, guys, if you guys want more information regarding financing out here in Las Vegas, whenever you guys have some free time, Dan has a podcast too as well. I think that airs every Tuesdays and Saturdays. Is that correct, Dan?
That's correct. And we also have a lot of people from the team, including David's, on there all the time. So it's good to check it out, dflve.com.
Or you can just type up Dan French. Make it very easy on YouTube search box. Hey, guys, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to the LV Home Experts radio show. This is where we talk about real estate and financing every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, if you guys have not had a chance to subscribe to this channel. I'm not too sure what you guys are waiting for. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Also, hit that notification button too as well, because this is where you're going to get update on all brand new properties that just hit the market. Check us out on Instagram too as well. Other than that, until next time, I'm Chakits.